All right. I'd like to welcome you all to the Raymond Durr Network. Today, I am honored and privileged to be joined by the wonderful Dr. Craig Wright, um, numerologist. Now, for me, this is something that I've been looking forward to just because I don't get to talk to many other numerologists. And if I'm being honest, especially, ones that look like me, ones that are older than me and who have been doing this for many, many years. So this is definitely a privilege for me. So Dr. Craig Wright, I do want to thank you for taking time out of your day to have this conversation with me.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me see. All right. So if you can, we'll get right into it. First question I want to ask you, Dr. Craig, Dr. Wright, how long have you been in a game of doing numerology?
Uh, Over 50 years.
Over 50 years. Right.
Yes,
Wow.
sir.
And you know what? And you're right. In your book, it all adds up. You mentioned how I believe the year, right? It was right before you were about to get married. 3 weeks before you were about to get married. Your best friend. He passed away 1972, and around a little bit after that time is when you discovered numerology. Now, you also mentioned the first part I want to bring up. You mentioned how before then, before you learned the numerology, that you didn't right, you didn't have that relationship with God, or you didn't know of your relationship with God. There was no religion, no spirituality, nothing, right? You didn't seek those things. I want to speak a little bit about that and what was it like before then, right? What was the your upbringing like that pretty much where you didn't have that understanding?
Well, I was raised in the Baltimore Ethical Society, and
Okay.
that was a combination of all religious backgrounds, people who believed in doing the right thing, not because there was a reward or a pie in the sky, but just because it was the right thing to do. And it's classified as humanism. The Ethical Society originated in New York by Felix Adler. He originated it. And that was my upbringing. So my parents gave me, I like to look at it as they gave me the opportunity to make my own choices
Hmm.
in that regard. When I went to Sunday school, we would visit synagogues, uh, Catholic churches. We would visit Baptist churches um, and be exposed to all the different religions.
Okay.
And that was that was my background. That was my understanding um, that no one had the answer, um, but everyone thought they did.
Right.
But there were many paths. And in my youth, I was much more interested in things I could see, feel, taste, and touch. You know, I was a mathematician studying math. I wanted to go into the Navy or the Air Force
Hmm.
and fly aircraft. So math was one of the basic skills you had to do that.
Yeah.
And so I was a technocrat. If you couldn't see it, feel it, taste it, touch it, measure it, it wasn't real to me.
Yeah.
Um, but as you mentioned before, my best friend passed. He died of a drug overdose, uh, Raymond, and I didn't even know he was using. So
Yeah. I
I
remember that
began to
part in your book.
scolded myself pretty good about that. You know, I should have been able to do something. What type of friend was I that this could happen? And
Yeah.
for the first time in my life, I began to ask those serious questions. You know, why was I here? What was the meaning of life? Was it going to be this arbitrary? If so, you know, take me now. I've had enough of it. But through my yearning and wanting to know, I was listening to the radio. I was listening to WEAA, it's a jazz station here in Baltimore, and I heard a song by Roy Ayers. Rest in peace, Roy. He just recently passed on.
Yeah. Rest in peace,
Um,
Roy.
he did a song called "In Search of the Third Eye." It's on his album called "Everyone Loves the Sunshine." So
Yeah.
most people recognize that he's throwing a lemon up in the sky. But on their album, it's a song called "In Search of the Third Eye," and I heard that on WEAA and it was captivating. They were talking about the secrets of numbers, secrets of sound, secrets of wisdom can be found. And I was in a mental state of searching and yearning, of wanting to know why was I here? What was the meaning of life? And the universe answered me. Um, as I've matured in my understanding of the scripture, my study of the written word, if you seek, you will find. If you knock, the door will open. And it
Absolutely.
opened for me. Much to my surprise, I started listening to this song, and it talked about a book. Um, well, the album cover revealed that the author of the song had read a book. Took me a couple of years, but I finally got my hands on a copy of it. There was no Amazon back then, no major
Yeah.
bookstores. Just through constant searching, I finally got a copy of it, and that's where I discovered numbers were different from figures. I had been using figures all my life to measure things, to quantify, um, measuring volume, circumference. Those were figures. Numbers, I discovered, revealed spiritual qualities. Most people know what the quality is represented by the number one. If I say he's number one, I'm
Yeah.
talking about a leader, the first, the fastest, the top, the best. Okay, football season is on now. We're going trying to determine who's going to the Super Bowl to be number one.
Yeah.
But what I discovered was all numbers have meanings, not just the number one, which is kind of, I don't know, relevant here in the USA because that's the culture here.
To be the best.
Driven to be number one, to be the
Yeah.
top, to be the best. So I was caught up in all of that. Um, but I discovered through through what I no longer call a tragedy. I discovered through the sacrifice that my best friend made. There's no greater. The scripture taught me there's no greater love than you give your life. Like
Mm.
Jesus gave his life to save all of us, but my friend, I believe, gave his life to wake me up.
Mm.
Um, and I decided as a result of his living, I would never be the same.
Yes.
Um, and I would be there to help people in need. So I started off studying numerology. I had to go to the Library of Congress. Couldn't go to the bookstore back then.
Okay.
Now there's a numerology for dummies, so people have a lot easier time if they want to
Yeah.
research it. It's
Absolutely. It's
become
everywhere now.
pretty much mainstream. But I had to go to the Library of Congress to read and study, and I discovered I was a number seven. And as a number seven, my job was to research
Mhm.
and analyze subjects and share what I discovered with others. So I was like, okay, I'm on the path. That's exactly what I'm doing. So it gave a whole nother meaning um, to life for me. I discovered that this is just a temporary phase that we're experiencing. We're not individuals, physical individuals have an occasional aha moment. We are spiritual beings having a temporary physical expression.
Mhm.
And we have a contract with our creator, just like the prophet Jeremiah.
Yes.
And that contract is revealed by the letters in our name. That's our part of the bargain. And the numbers in our birthday. That's God's part of the bargain.
Yes. Now I want to circle back to something you said, how your friend's passing. Rest in peace as well to your friend. But how you said it woke you up and started you on a journey. Now I can relate to that. Now my mom in 2000, at the end of 2019, she passed away from a
Oh,
drug
I'm sorry to
overdose.
hear that. Oh,
Thank
my
you.
goodness.
Yeah, she passed away from a drug overdose, and there's a lot of anger there. with me and my mom. Wasn't the best relationship, but just like you kind of said, it woke you up. It woke me up as well, to the point where I didn't want to have those feelings of resentment and anger, and I didn't want to carry that around anymore, especially if I was meant to do more here. And so I just wanted to touch on that because, the overdose, that just came to me, it clicked to me the same way you did. And I know you said that now when you say that you're a number 7, are you saying that your birthday number 7, or your birth path is a 7?
Raymond, that's a very insightful question. My birthday, well, first, my year, 1951, adds up to 16. Well, that's a 7. When
Okay.
you add my month and day to that, that's a 7. 5, 4, 51
Mm.
goes from 16 to 25, but 2 plus 5 is a 7. My vowel total is a 7, and my whole name is a 7. So I pretty much didn't have a whole lot of
You're all
choice.
7. You're all 7. Yeah, okay. my now
Exactly.
my what most people know as the life path number. That's I'm a 7 as well. And so, yeah, I one is no coincidence that I met you. And I just want to say this, right? You're the first person. I don't think I can't say that I had another numerology reading, but there have been people that have, that I share my birthday with, and they'll say a few things. But you are the first and only person that I've had that numerology experience with, and so it was just me meeting you and have that experience with you. I don't believe it's coincidence.
I don't believe so either. We're
Yeah.
discovering even more similarities on tonight's show. And I hope you don't mind. I'm being urged to share something with you.
Okay.
Um, you have 22 energy in your name. What do I mean by that? The number 22 is one of the master numbers. Double digits are master numbers. They're testing numbers, but they offer the opportunity for greater success, greater influence, if you will, greater
Hmm.
opportunities to spread the good news, to bring the light. Okay.
Yes.
And as a 22, this information is found in the vowels. I'm sorry, in the consonants in Raymond and also in Durr. So you have 22s in both your first and your last name. I think this might be something new I didn't share with you before. The Spirit is urging me to share this with you now because the 22 is called the Master Builder and the Globalist. So
Hmm.
your impact is going to be global. And I guess this is a new type, the podcast is a new type of communication, but film is also, the big screen is also a media format that's going to open up for you.
And spirit just told you to
Something
share
you
that.
write is going to become a movie. Let me put it that way.
Something I write is going to become a movie.
Yes, put it out there.
I'm gonna take that in. I'm gonna take that in, and I received that, and I thank you. Um, that caught me a little off guard. That caught me
Me
a little off
too.
guard. And this brings me to another question, right? Because with the numerology, it's just not you have it's an intuitive part for you as well. Eh,
Well, I was intuitively guided to numerology to use as a tool. No one came to me and said, "Here, read this."
Yeah.
I heard the song, I bought the book, and that was my introduction to metaphysics. Now I have a PhD in metaphysics, but that was my introduction. And because of my background, my previous background in math, I got a in math when I was in seventh grade, and my parents decided they were going to have an engineer in the family. So I was in class all the time. My mother was a school teacher. I was never out of school, so I was very well prepared for numbers. In fact, I have to give my brother credit. Not that it was his intention. I had an older brother. He's gone on now. He's passed on. He's up above, looking down on me, making sure I'm doing right. But I
Yeah.
had an older brother And when I was told I was good in math, he would say, "So you think you're good at math, huh?" And he would get a yardstick. He
Okay.
says, "Take the number one, multiply it by five, add two. What do you get?" And if I got the wrong answer, he'd give me a little pop. He's so smart. Show me how smart you are. So
Yeah.
now when someone tells me their name, I can add the numbers up
Yeah.
immediately. So I had to
Yeah.
throw that out there, give him his props. Not that that was his intention, but everything I'm saying that just to let people know everything has a purpose, everything has a reason. You may not see it right away. In fact, you may be doing something that you don't really enjoy or even like, but you're being prepared. And
Mm.
you have to remember some of these decisions were made before you were formed in the womb. Okay, you have a contract. There's no backing out now.
And you know what? And I'm glad you mentioned contract because it did prompt another question. In your book, you say that and I don't know if you put this in your book, but I know you shared it with me when you sent me my the summary from our reading, where the name is our part of the contract, and the birthday is part of the that's the creator's
Every
part of the
number,
contract.
every number, usually there's three of them, plus the sum. So we've got most of us have four gifts. Now, interestingly enough, the wiser and the more advanced you are, those numbers can match. You could be born May the 5th.
Hmm.
Okay. There's a guy now tearing it up on the football field. His name is Jonathan, plays for the Colts.
Okay.
And his number is 28. 2 plus 8 is 10. 1 plus 0 is 1. So I do what I do. I looked up his birthday, and he's born January the 28th, and his month is a one, his day is a one, and his year is a one. It's
Mm.
very rare, but those are old souls when that happens. Very, very highly evolved. And I just can't wait to see what he's going to do after his football career in terms of elevating the planet. But yes, the birthday, gifts. Your month is a gift, your day, they're symbols. Okay, we know number one is leadership. Two is patience. Three is expression. Four is work and order. Five is freedom. Six is service. Seven is faith and wisdom. Eight, dealing with the forces of money and power. And nine is giving it all away. Selfless giving.
Yes.
There's only nine vibrations.
It's okay. Okay. Now, and you caught me off guard again because that's something when the birthday when the numbers match, like you just said, May someone born on May 5th, 1985, right? That's 5, 5, and 5. That means that that's probably this is not their first rodeo. They've done this many
That's
times
correct.
over. Okay.
They've been here many, many times before. They're an
Okay.
old soul.
Okay. And you said, and then it goes again to the name. Now, one thing I want to ask you about the name, because this is where it gets a little bit, I'm not sure the word I'm looking for, but when you start to use the Pythagorean system and the mixture with the Chaldean system, because not you don't people don't typically go around saying their first, middle, and last, but they just use their first and last name. So
Yes.
can you just give me some insight on the methods, right? And maybe I'm asking this for myself when I'm providing my readings, the method to be used in those scenarios.
Well, I could use myself as an example. My first, middle, and last name and all those other numbers were sevens, which
Okay.
makes me here to express the energy of faith and wisdom. So I'm a researcher, I'm an analyst, I'm actually Reverend Dr. Craig Wright,
Yes.
um, ordained metaphysical minister, but my first and last name, Craig Wright, is a six. So that tells me where I need to devote my energy, and all this research and analysis and my faith and my wisdom is to be
Mm,
used for service. Six is the number of service. So I'm a teacher, a counselor, um, a writer, and these are number six things. I'm a rescuer. Um,
Yes, self the sacrificer.
yes, yes, definitely put
Oh,
others first.
I see what you did there. So it's the full name is the one vibration, and then okay, wow,
Then my first name
yeah,
is an 11. So as Craig, I'm a number 11, which is the master teacher, God's lantern, the number of light, wisdom.
yeah,
So I'm to use my analytical abilities to shine the light, to share what I discover in a teaching and loving, nurturing capacity.
absolutely.
That's how you would blend all that and read all that together.
Okay, so my next question I want to ask, right? When you first started learning and practicing this craft, and even in the craft of metaphysics, and I'll use myself as an example. Now, my upbringing different from yours, where you explored many other different religions, many other different backgrounds, people that practice many different other had many other different practices. Mine was more so Baptist and Christian. Now, when I first started putting it out there that I was practicing and studying numerology, I got a little bit of I don't want to use the word hate, but there were some people, I got a couple people telling me that I was opening up demonic portals by practicing numerology. With you, has there ever been any of that presented to you, or did you have any of those internal battles if this is something that should be practicing?
Big capital YES. Okay.
Okay.
I felt like I've got the answer. Okay.
mm,
It was it was feeding me everything that I needed. But when I went out to share it with, the environment that I was currently involved with, they thought I had lost my mind. Thought it was
mm,
an evil practice, thought it was demonic. I would get a lot of this, get away, get away.
yeah.
So I began to ask God, why are you teaching me this stuff? Um, Look how people are responding. So the answer I got back was, keep studying. You're not ready yet. And when it's time, I'm going to send my leaders to you. Meanwhile, get into the Bible and study my word. So I did. First thing I realized was the fourth book of the Bible. And you may want to, you know, put this on as your armor too if you're going to start telling Christians you're a numerologist.
Yeah.
The fourth book of the Bible is Numbers.
mm,
Hello.
yeah.
That's the fourth book of the Bible. I also realized I was born May the 4th. So I have an affinity with numbers. Also in Psalms 90, verse 12, Moses writes, so teach us to number our days so we can apply our hearts to wisdom.
Yes.
That's a direct reference to numerology. It was a science that was taught in the mystery schools of Egypt.
Yes.
If anyone wants to research it and study it, you mentioned Pythagoras. That's where I started. He was called the father of mathematics. But
hmm
as I began to study his life in the Library of Congress, I realized he studied in Egypt, spent 20 years there,
mm,
and they used the oral tradition. So when he came back, he was greeted as this great, great revealer. But he got it from Egypt. He learned it from the Egyptian masters, as did Moses. Um, in reference to that Psalm 90, Jesus changed the names of his disciples. His main guy was named Simon. Simon was a fisherman. He was a number seven. Loved to be by himself out on the water. I love the fish too. Sevens love to be out of nature.
yeah.
But when it was time to lead, when he was time to be the rock, his name was changed to Peter. And Peter is a number one for leadership.
mm,
So that's an example of how Jesus also studied numerology in Egypt and utilized it, was very, very much aware of it. There's something that says a good name is better to have than diamonds and riches. Most people think that means reputation, but they're actually talking about the name. Names had meanings
Yeah.
back then. It was lost over time, but they still do. So um, after a while, I just began to realize, Raymond, people are on different timetables of evolution,
Mm.
and I understand that this isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
There was a time in my process, I wasn't a believer,
Yeah.
so I have to respect that. And I find that opportunities to share come to me. And when they do, it's never a problem. I'll hear someone say, "Oh, today's my birthday," or I hear someone say, "I wonder what we should name them." It'll just be a clue, something. Someone will say something, and that's when I'll know. I tutor now, and I do substituting. I was
Okay.
substituting a high school class, and I heard these kids are going through a lot. I heard one of the kids talking about how one of their best friends had just committed suicide, and they
Mm.
were having a very serious conversation about life, the meaning of life. Um, was it worth it? Should they be here? So my bells were ringing, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to intrude. So I told myself, said a little prayer, God, if someone mentions birthday, if I hear the word birthday, I'll go over. So I said, okay, it's off of me now. I put it on
Mm.
God, so I don't have to worry about it. But someone said birthday. So I introduced myself. I told them I was listening. I was very, very sorry. I had lost close to me too at a young age. And I began to give those kids readings right there in that classroom. And
Mm.
they were all totally amazed. It had addressed questions that they had and confirmed some things as well. So that's how I know when it's time to share. So I don't go around trying to knock people over the head with it.
Yeah.
I let people know what my gift is, what my skill is, see if they're interested. I try to approach where there will be people searching, like bookstores or candle shops.
Yeah.
And there are several metaphysical churches out there now, and I'm working with teaching classes and workshops with them. So,
Yeah. That's the I think that's the part where I am looking forward to as well. It's just right. I've had that part where I've done fairs, things of that nature. And right, it's just now is like, well, how can I get this out there more to where I enjoy it, but also knowing that I am helping, workshops. I enjoy the teaching part. I really enjoy the teaching part.
mhm.
Probably a little bit more than I do doing the actual reading. But I know it's a gift, but one aspect is I always one story in the Bible that this all it kind of brings me to is the story of the Tower of Babel. And one
Oh
and
my
one
goodness.
and one perspective, right, is because the story is they're all trying, everyone's trying to get to heaven at once and they're all doing it together. And then God comes, he destroys the tower and he confuses the languages. Well, that's kind of how I see things, is that we all just speak different languages, right? The goal is still to get to heaven. Now, how we choose to get to heaven and communicate with heaven, that's our own language with God. And it's just some people may not understand that language, and we have to be okay with it. And so I guess, part of the path now was just being able to find those same people that can speak the language with us, but also are willing to learn the language.
Exactly. It's funny you would mention the Tower of Babel because when I first got this calling, I went to seminary. I said, "Oh, this is it. I'm going to seminary. God's called me." And I had to write
Hmm.
an exegesis. We had to pick a scripture and, write, analyze it, give it this meaning. They call them exegesis. And that's the scripture that I picked, the Tower of Babel, which was my number. It's about the number 16, the tower, the
Mm,
16. That's in the Bible. It's also in numerology. That's another connection that I use to tell people about numbers in the Bible. And it's about pride and arrogance. Pride and arrogance
yeah.
precede the fall. That's where that saying comes from. And it's particularly, it's true for all of us, but it's particularly true for the number 16. You have to watch out for that. I also pick out the number 40 and share that with people. 40 days, 40 nights, the rain,
Yeah.
the prayer. Every time it shows up, 4 stands for order. 0 is a symbol for God. God's establishing a new
Hmm.
order every time that shows up. And the real kicker is the Jesus number, number 3. You realize the Bible, Jesus about the number 3. What? Ain't no numerology. 3 wise men, 3 sleeping disciples, denied 3 times before the rooster could crow, crucified between 2 others, betrayed by 30 pieces of silver, 3 plus 0 is 3, and arose on the 3rd day.
Yes.
So that 3
Yes.
stands for abundance and spirituality.
Yeah. And when you said the number 16, it was just like, okay, it was definitely clicked is because one, I think also in the tarot deck, the 16th card is the tower card. Um,
Exactly.
and my birthday, right? When you use the single digit numbers of March 24, 1987, 367 is 16 for me. So it's, and that's a number that I see, well, not I see, but I just anytime I think about the number 16, I'm thinking about my birth path number.
Yes,
That karmic debt number, right? It's the fall due to pride and ego.
exactly. And the call now to be of service and sacrifice your needs for the needs of others.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now I also want to ask you about the master numbers, right? Because
Mhm.
there's like a debate where the master numbers stop. Some say the master numbers stop at 22, but you take the master numbers up to 44.
Actually, in my book, when I wrote my book at that time, I stopped
Mhm.
at 44, but that was some time ago. In my continued studies, all double digits are master numbers, from 11 to 99.
Yes.
11 is the master teacher, master revelation. Master builder is a 22. 33 is master healer and master of universal service. 44, Martin Luther King Jr., master liberator, prophet, speaker
Mm,
of truth. 55, master of divine will. 66, master of universal joy. 77, master of creative thought. 88, master of divine knowing. And Nelson Mandela, 99,
mm. Yeah.
master of universal love.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was going to be a bloodbath when apartheid was overcome, but not with Nelson Mandela in charge. The
Yeah.
master of universal love.
Yes,
99, the
absolutely.
only one I've encountered.
Now, I also so another question I want to ask you, and this might be, and this is kind of backtracking a little bit, but there also has to be, and you were speaking about it with your experiences with your students, right? There also has to be ethics when it comes to this, because when you are looking at these numbers, you are getting insight to a person's energy and a person's life. So, can you just speak on about the ethics of actually using this practice?
Yes, yes. For me, there was a cleansing, if you will. God always prepares the soil like a farmer. They'll bust the soil up before they plant it. So
Hmm.
God always prepares the soil. He broke my ego down. So I was on my knees blubbering because I had lost my best buddy. And at that point, I was able um, to use the information from a space inside myself that was going to be a benefit to others. I don't think maybe I would have, but I don't think I would have even found it if my heart wasn't right. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even have stuck with it. You know what I mean? Stuck with it or even cared about it
Yeah.
if my heart wasn't right. Um, but you did bring up something that I feel I need to point out. I emphasize the balance number. But energy is like a seesaw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A balanced number one will use his leadership to help others. Martin Luther King Jr. said it the best. Not the drum major energy, like, look at me, I'm out front,
Yeah.
but the helper, leading by getting with the people, doing what the people are doing. That's balanced leadership. Okay. Now, if that energy is overbalanced, the ego goes up.
Mm.
Oh, number one. Look at
Yeah.
me. I'm the drum master. I'm up in front. Okay. We're seeing some of that now at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, and we know what the
Yeah.
16 means. So
Mm.
I'm just holding my breath, counting down before the fall. Okay, that's
Yeah.
overbalance. Now, underbalance, number one energy, wishy-washy, shy, imitative, refusing to lead, wants no parts of it. But it's all number one energy. And most of us, whatever the energy is, we're on the seesaw seeking to balance that out. Okay, to balance that out.
Y-
So but it's like anything else. Any tool can be used for good or evil. A
Yes.
knife can take people out, or it can save a life.
Yeah.
So it depends on whose hands that is in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about where your heart is at and all about where you're at in balance. If you're trying to use this to, and which may bring me to my next point, right, is how you trying if you're trying to use it to help people or if you're also trying to use it to cause confusion. And what I mean by confusion is at times I see it on the internet, even at times when I'm, live streaming, there are people that come in talking about how different organizations may use numerology to call for conspiracies and all these other different avenues. And I just feel one that I don't even know how that helps people to bring in that information, but it just causes confusion.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It's again, it's whose hands um, is the information in. And that's not only true about numerology, it's true about anything that you could think of. It's
Yeah.
basically true about it. How is it going to be used? Look, the Bible has been used to enslave,
Yes.
to keep people down. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, it doesn't mean that the Bible is a quote bad book. It's just it was in the wrong hands, how it was
Yes.
being used.
Yes.
So, can pretty much say that about anything that's designed to address human need,
Hmm.
our desires, and and while we're here, it can be manipulated and used in in a way that benefits the individual as opposed to serving the masses. But people have to remember we're being watched. Okay. There is a creator who's overlooking everything.
Yes.
Okay. Before Job ran into his difficulties and lost everything,
Hmm.
the enemy had to ask for permission. Okay. If you
Mm.
read the story about Job from the beginning, you don't go in the middle where he's in ragcloth, ashes, half his family passed away. The enemy had to ask permission from God to do that. God said, take everything but his life. He will not fail me. And he did
Mm.
it. Devil got busy, took all his money, his possessions, made him sick, okay, beat him down. But
Yeah.
he held on, he maintained his faith, and it came back double, which I like to point out to people. Just because you're blessed doesn't mean you're going to have an easy experience. Au contraire,
Yeah.
the more blessed you are, the more faith you have, the more you can withstand, and you'll be called on to do so, to exemplify, to
Yes.
demonstrate, not to glorify self, but to let people know the rock that you're standing on is Christ.
Yes. Right. Now, now I want to ask a question about those who are just um right that are getting into numerology and and are saying, you know what, I want to start studying this on myself. I want to start learning more about myself. What do you think what do you think is the number that they should start with? Right? Some may say it's the birthday number, some may say it's the birth path number. What some may say it's the name, right? You know, because that's your part of the contract. What do you feel what do you feel people should start at when they're first getting on this journey?
Yeah, that's a good question because you can't do everything at once. You have to take one step at a time. So the most important thing, in my opinion, would be God's part of the contract to know your gifts, talents, skills, and abilities that the Creator gave you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're not what people think you are. You're not what you've been told you are. Most people will define you in a manner that benefits themselves.
Absolutely.
Um, so if you really want to get an insight as to your capabilities, your talents, I recommend people start with their birthday, their month, their day, their year, and then add them all together. In fact, start by adding them all together. That one
Yeah.
number going to be the most important number that you find because you can always change your name. You can legally change your name. People will call you names. You'll have nicknames.
Right.
So
Your family,
energy will change.
right? Your family gonna call you a completely different name than your name anyway.
Exactly. You,
I've been, I've
you can tell how far back people know you by what they call you by, right? If someone
right,
says, Hey Tweety Bird," I know they
yeah,
knew me when I was 7 or 8 years old.
right. My whole family, even people younger than me to this day, in my family, call me Lil Raymond. If you call me Lil Raymond, that means you've known me since I was I have a son that's a junior. They don't even call him Little Raymond. They just call me Lil Raymond. So absolutely. That's the name you can change, but the day you come here, that one cannot be changed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's correct. Now you may have to develop those gifts. I share with people all the time, the number 17 or the number 8
Hmm.
gives athletic ability. Michael Jordan's a 17, Mahomes born in 17, but Michael Jordan was cut from the basketball team in high school. Most people
Yeah,
don't know that. The
yeah,
greatest of in my mind now, some people in this generation argue about LeBron, but his
yeah.
valve total is a 17. So yeah, he's great too. But Michael
Hmm.
Jordan was cut because he didn't use his gift. But after that, he
Mm,
started practicing. He got real serious after that. So
yeah,
we have the gifts, but we have the onus is still on us to develop those gifts. Okay. I was born with that 7, but it took a cosmic 2 by 4 to get
yeah.
me on that spiritual path. I was using the analytical skills and and math and engineering, but the spiritual side was lacking. It
Mm,
hadn't fully awakened until my
ab-
friend sacrificed.
mm,
But after that, I just began to people they laugh at me. They said, "How did you end up How did you go from numerology and end up being a Christian? Most people start with Christianity
yeah.
and wander away." I said, it, it just guided me right back to Christ. It just guided me
Mm,
right to him, the sacrifices that he made, where he studied in Egypt, everything. He's called the light. The word light is 11. The name Jesus is the number 11. It was like, come on, this is
yeah.
probably one of the greatest numerologists that ever lived.
Mm,
He and Moses. So yeah, if you study numbers, you will end up right back in the scripture because they studied numbers back then. They understood
yeah.
numbers had meanings, and it was so revered. It's one of the chapters in the Bible. The fourth book of the Bible is called Numbers. And I
Mm.
rest my case right there with all the people who want to argue with me. If that doesn't get it for you, no problem. I'm moving on. I am not
Right.
here to convince anyone. I'm here to share my gift, not
Mm,
to proselytize or beat people over the head or
yeah.
you better study this, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, and you're absolutely right, and I appreciate that. Because that's definitely been one of my battles. Is like, I got to tell myself I'm not here to convince you. It's either you're with it or if you're not, and that's why I just have to have one compassion and just understand that you don't you don't understand the language, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. He did,
Um,
like he put it. He confused the languages, so
yeah, absolutely.
it's just not their time yet.
Hmm.
We're all on the same path,
Yeah.
evolving and growing, but we're at just different levels, different stages. So,
Yes. One place that I really one reason another reason why I really like numerology is for the reflection part of it. It's the being able to look, right, being able to look at the patterns and cycles, right, using like the personal year and just seeing places in my life where I felt there was an opportunities for me to make different decisions. To see what, especially like in the 9 years or even at the ages of nine, that add up to the nine, the number 18, the number nine at age 9, age 27, also the number 5 as well. But just seeing where doors were closing and what doors were opening. And then
mhm.
also my first two children, both of them were born and a 5 year, one in 2012 and one in 2021. So it just kind
Right.
of, so numerology, the reason why, that's part of the reason why I like it so much, right? Is because I do see, right, in the 5 year, this is that was trying to show me where life was offering me the opportunity for change and transformation. And it's whether I accepted it, that change and transformation, right? That kind of dictated the future events. But then I look and see
Exactly.
where I was resisting or I didn't allow those doors to close that stop the other ones, the new doors from opening.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, we're in a 9 year right now, so there's some doors that have been closing. You
Y-
know, there's some doors that have been closing, and we're about to go into a number 1 year.
Yeah, I think you're breaking up a little bit there. There you go. Can you hear
Yeah,
me?
so this year, with the number
Mhm.
1 year, you can expect new beginnings, fresh starts, new
Yeah,
ideas, and that energy that says, finally, I finally move forward, you know? So I'm excited about it. It's the beginning of a brand new 9 year cycle,
yes.
2026.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm being patient, but I am ready to get to that 1 year. But I do appreciate because it's just I do appreciate all the lessons that do come from a 9 year of just right falling in love with the process, and especially with numerology is because I see that there are some things that I'm going through. There are some moments of chaos, but I know that it's certain doors that I need to close in these moments.
Yeah, facing the same thing. I think we all are.
Yes, yes. All right. So I just want to ask you, just a couple more questions. One is, how can people get in contact with you, and how can they? One, I recommend everyone that's watching, that's listening, definitely grab Reverend Dr. Craig Wright's book, It All Adds Up. It is one of the books I still use to this day as a reference when I'm doing my readings. And just sometimes I do have to go back there for more information. Um, so, one, can you let the people know how to purchase your book, but also how to book you for services?
Yes, the answer for both is visit my website, and that is www.craighwright, CRAIG, the letter E,
Mhm.
WRIGHT.com. And there you'll click on services and you'll see our for classes. My book is available. An ebook is available. You can also get it hard copy through the bookstores. And I also do readings, forecasts, and consultations.
Okay. And all right. And I like to ask this question to all my guests. What is one thing that you would tell to your younger self?
The one thing I would tell my younger self is follow through,
Yes.
follow through. Being born in May, the fifth month, um, I like to exemplify the May like this. Which way am I pointing? Five different directions, right?
Yes.
So in my youth, I started and stopped and started and stopped a lot of things that I wish I had just followed through with them.
Mm,
Um, so that's what I would tell my younger self. Now that I'm older, I could see, wow, if I had kept doing that, maybe things would have changed, would have been different. Um, so that yeah, that's what I would tell my younger self. Follow through. Okay. Follow through.
follow through. All right. Now is any now now we're getting ready to close it out. Is there any last messages or anything that you would like to leave us with?
As a matter of fact, there is. Um, I've been talking a lot about the power of the number 17 as a liberator, and it just so happens that um, AYO out of Raymond, which is 14, and the U and there is a 3, 14 and 3 is 17. So I've been talking a lot about the athletic ability of the 17, but
Mhm.
Moses was a 17. So God uses the 17 energy to speak truth to power. Okay.
Mm,
Sent Moses right into Pharaoh. Pharaoh could snap his fingers and your whole generation could be wiped out. So as a 17, I felt I wanted to share that with you. There are going to be global stages where you're going to be called upon to speak truth to power. And I want to urge you to remember the pen is mightier than the sword.
yeah.
Over the years, I've learned not to resist. And half the times, what I'm sharing with others has no meaning for me, but I recognize that God uses me as a channel. So when He puts that vibration in my ear, I just let it go right out, just like I received it. And
Huh,
that's what I
yeah.
received to share with you. A
I'm sorry. You
global
started
liberator.
a global liberator. I was gonna say you started breaking up towards the end there. A
There are
global.
forces working against us.
There's forces working against us. Okay. I got forces working against us and global liberator.
Speaking truth to power. That's what
Speak truth to power.
God calls on the 17 to do that. Muhammad Ali was born in 17. And I
Mm.
remember like yesterday when he refused to go fight the Vietnam War. He refused it. They took his license from him, but that's what made him the greatest. So I see an opportunity like that for you as well to speak truth to power on a global scale.
Well, I received that. It's still cut out, but I definitely received what you're saying. I heard the parts I definitely needed to hear.
Great, great.
All right. Well, I thank you, Reverend
Thank
Dr. Craig
you.
Wright, for joining me today. It's always a privilege and an honor to be able to talk to just someone else in the field, and especially for me, right, just being having someone to be able to talk to and to learn from, because it's not easy. It's not easy, especially on this journey. So I just thank you. I thank you for doing my numerology reading. I thank you for joining me today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My pleasure. God bless.
All right. God bless you. All right. You take care.